Today we're going to discuss, first of all, two parties that don't represent us. We have no representation. We see our college system is falling to pieces. Indoctrination is happening every day. So if we know those things are taking place, what are we to do about it? Because some of those things we cannot help. We're just one random person. But there are 5 things that you can do that cost you absolutely nothing, but just a little thinking and a little time. Today, let's talk about that. We're going to talk about the stories that we should be listening to that will help influence us to prepare the smartest ways possible. Let's jump into it. Today's video starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up. If you are subscribed, you're commenting, you're giving us a thumbs up, you're entered into the giveaway that we're going to be doing at the end of the month, which we're real close to. Also, we have another giveaway going on Twitter. There's not as many followers over there, so you've got big chances. Go over there, follow us at the Colby Mac, and that way you can be entered in both giveaways. Now let's talk about today's video. There's 2 things I want to bring attention to, and then from that helps us understand what we need to be doing. First, let's talk about the double standard. We're seeing now basically infiltration of our colleges where kids are being so confused in what they believe, not knowing truth anymore, to where we're so inverted as a culture to where we have literally go and look at the videos of UT Austin, of USC, all those places, and I mean there's tons of them, tons of colleges that are getting public funding. Harvard has just taken down the US flag and put up the Palestinian flag. Now, we would consider that worse than J6, I would imagine, but no, it's okay. But remember, your tax dollars goes and pays for all these universities. A lot of money goes to these universities from the taxpayers. So we're seeing inverted indoctrination of our colleges. So I would challenge you, of course, don't send your kids to these colleges, but we're not taking control of it. Police are allowing this to happen. Now they're making encampments, and all of a sudden now we're losing control. It looks bad because now police are having to go in with force, and then it looks bad on the police because they're tearing down these pro-Palestinian rallies, or they're tearing down these tents, or they're hurting the rights of these people. Well, there's a difference there. Do you see how easy it is to manipulate what freedom looks like? That's not freedom to take down the US flag and put up the Palestinian flag. That's not freedom to literally break the law saying that you can't have encampments here. But then some random group buys hundreds of tents that all match and puts them there for this group to basically riot. Now, the problem we have here is the college system is broke, and it's teaching our children, the future leaders, of how important socialism is, how important non-religious views are, how important getting away from our core values of being happy with America and understanding the freedoms and the thankfulness that we should be and the gratification of where our country is. It makes them almost hate America. So that's our first problem. We have a problem with our school system. Now, how did they get to college? They went to mostly public schools. Free school is not free school. It's costing you everything because it's costing your children. Now, that's the first thing. We have a problem of teaching children to grow up and be better humans. Secondly, your leadership, your representation is selling you out. 2 things. There was a story that Jim Biden, Joe's brother, has been making millions of dollars off the system that his brother has built. I want you to listen to this. High-ranking Qatari scheme, meaning we're working with a foreign agent. He's a foreign agent working with a foreign government. There's a Politico story, which Politico is not a right-leaning organization by any means. They're actually left-leaning. But it says that there's a scheme, high-ranking Qatari scheme, to provide wealth of information and wealth to this family for introductions and favors from the government. So we say, oh, that's bad, that's the Democrats. No. Now let's go to the next story. So we see that with our wonderful Democrat Party. What about our Republicans? Mike Johnson breaking. According to the new FEC reports, House Speaker Mike Johnson allegedly received $524,000 from AIPIC. I'm gonna let you look that up and you find out who that group is. And $95,000 payment from a foreign lobbying group for the military package that they just passed. So he made roughly $600,000 to sell out America's sovereignty, freedom, and really America's tax dollars. Now, I just bring up 2 stories. I imagine 95% of Congress is doing the same thing. 95% of elected officials are doing the same thing because they know lobbying and back funds and under the table schemes happen all the time. No one's willing to break the cycle. So we have indoctrination happening in our schools where our kids are not learning what true freedom, morals, and values are, and also what liberty and truly what a constitutional republic is, which is what we are. And then you have, on the other hand, the representatives that's representing us is not representing us. They're representing their personal interests. And to be honest with you, when they keep us as serfs and they become lords, then it doesn't matter about the indoctrination. It actually benefits them on both parties. Because remember, you're working with one basic party. When you see pushback from people like, when you see pushback on the independent with Kennedy right now, and also with Donald, the reason they're doing that is because even though that's a liberal and really not a conservative, but you know, a populist, both of these are candidates that have not been truly bought off. Now, they may have problems, but they're not part of the main one-party system. So therefore, that's why they're hated on both sides. They do not believe in the narrative. Now, both of them are probably not perfect, but to be honest with you, Biden is perfect for the uniparty. Biden is perfect for the Republican establishment and the Democrats because he is just puppeting what they already are doing. Taking money from us, the taxpayers, spending money to then turn around and get it back through lobbying and under the table things. Now, before we talk about the things that you should be doing, because you can't control any of that, you need to know knowledge of it so it can help you do better. Let's hear a word from the sponsor of today's video. The sponsor of today's video is mud water. I've been talking about mud water for a few months now. I've enjoyed utilizing it as my afternoon brew. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've started drinking it in the morning too. It's very good, and I like it because it does not have a lot of calories, and it gives me all day energy without the jitters and the buzz. This pack's a phenomenal flavor, like cacao and chai had a baby. So if you're looking for that coffee taste, get that coffee morning ritual, do not miss out on mud water. I grew up in the South, and I grew up on places where we had gardens and things like that. So we ate big breakfasts. We had coffee all the time. I grew up on coffee. But the more and more and the older I've gotten, yes, it's enjoyable, but I get the jitters. I feel a little bit over-caffeinated with it. That's why I started drinking this mud water, and I actually really enjoy the flavor of it. I enjoy the fact that I can add my own remedies to it with my dairy milk and also with honey. I love it like that. So you can make your own lattes, your own special blend. But the one benefit of this is this packs a nutrient punch. It has chai and cacao, which both gives you caffeine, but also gives you that chocolatey flavor. Cordyceps promotes natural energy. Lion's mane, good for the focus. And both chaga and reishi helps our immune system. Plus, it's Whole30 approved, organic, non-GMO, vegan, kosher. So it is for just about anyone's diet, especially if you enjoyed the coffee, enjoyed the feeling of the morning or the sunset brew. This could be for you. Mud water also supports research in our mental stability. They know there's a mental health epidemic, and then they know there's a psychedelic issue going on. So what they've come in and done, and they've come in and donated, they've put the money towards the research to help people with some mental health problems. For a limited time only, Mud water is hooking up our subscribers, hooking up the people that watch this channel, that uses the link below with a free frother. Not only that, $20 off. So use the code below, mudwater.com/themax. That's MUDWTR.com/themax. Get the free frother, get the $20 off, and get this phenomenal drink that is like coffee, gives all the benefits of coffee, but it doesn't give you all the crash, all the jitters, and it's so much more healthier for you. Check out Mudwater today. All right, so now what should we be doing to make sure that we're trying to be as independent and sustainable as possible? We're seeing more crackdowns on farms, more crackdowns on gardens, more crackdowns on raising your own food. You're actually seeing the pushback on conservative values and morals, even from conservatives, even from Republicans. So therefore, we're getting into a time where tyranny is true. I want you to listen to this quote. I don't even know who wrote it, but I want you to listen to it because I thought it was spot on. It says, "The road to tyranny is paved with people telling you to stop questioning everything." We live in a very tumultuous time, and we see weak men all across the board. It's time for men and women to build back what true family ethics and morals are, but also to try to do better for themselves and be more sustainable and independent without the government. Now, let's talk about the 5 things that you should be doing. First and foremost, if you are a father or you're a husband, you need to start treating your wife better and treating your children better. You are the only person in your family structure that can start making changes like that. It's not your wife's job. It's not your children's job to all of a sudden just be great angels. It's your job. If there's not enough money coming in, you better find a way to make more money. If there's too much stress in the home, you've put too much stress there. Now, yes, as the man, you should be doing better. I said in a video a few days ago that a marriage is 100%, 100%, meaning you've got to give 100%, your wife's got to give 100%. It's not a 50-50. So I come now say, we got the males, let's talk about the females. We should be working together. You know what I think you should do? Let's put down social media just for a second, and let's quit scrolling and seeing everybody's Instagram posts and Facebook posts that looks like their family's perfect. Because what that does is it shows us some kind of alternate universe as the grass is greener, which is not. We need to start building our family back up and putting value back into husband-wife marriages, and also raising our children in a way that represents the benefits of what America has given us for so long. This country has been stronger and more independent and the best city on a hill in America when we were doing the things that we were doing. Now that we're not, we're looking like Europe, and we look like it's the demise of Rome. So number one, you have to find a family structure, and you have to start being the man you're supposed to be, the woman you're supposed to be, the husband you're supposed to be, the wife you're supposed to be, the father and mother you're supposed to be. Then you can start making an impact in your children's lives. Number two, the age-old problem is, oh, we don't have the money to do that. Oh, we don't have the time to do that because we have to work. We have built a system to where everything that we do revolves around money. That's just the truth. Now, does that mean it's a bad thing? No, making money is not bad. But when our life revolves around the dollar and spending the dollar, then we have to make enough to try to catch up to pay for the things that we just bought. The borrower is slave to the lender. So you've got to get on a budget. You've got to change the way you're doing life. You know, the American dream was always to have this home and have a white picket fence, have a dog in the front yard, have 2.5 children, and it all looks perfect. You can't have any of that if you're in debt up to your eyeballs. So that means that's why you're living on the street. That's why you're living in an apartment leasing. That's why you're renting. That's why you're in debt up to your eyeballs, because you have 45 credit cards and tons of debt, and you had to buy a new 2024 Tahoe because that's just what everybody does. We've built a way to where we think we've got to have everything and to keep up with Joneses that we don't have to keep up with. Ultimately, we're hurting the first one. We're hurting the fact of what nuclear family looks like. We're hurting the fact of our wife and spouse, because the biggest reason for divorce, the biggest reason for problems in the home is money, finances. So you've got to get on a written budget. You have to get on a grocery plan that is written out. You have to get strict about your money. We live in a high interest, high inflation time. Tumultuous, like I said. But you know how you change that? And for your own family tree, what did I say a few days ago? It's not the money you make, it's how you spend your money. So you can make a very low income amount of money, but if you're spending less, then you're coming out on top. You have a surplus. So get on a written budget, learn how to take care of your needs, get out of debt, and start making a plan. Dave Ramsey has phenomenal plans. Look at ways that you can side hustle to start getting out of debt. You don't need the new car. You don't need the new clothes. You don't need to buy everything on Amazon. Don't make it so easy that where your credit card's already loaded and all of a sudden you just buy. Start paying with cash, and you'll start realizing you may not need it as much. Also, if it's online, you can't buy with cash, so that cuts out the online buys. Please get on a budget and start learning how to be more independent with your finances, because that's going to help, number one, have a better marriage. Number three is back to the family, back to the finances. Quit going out and eating on this high-priced budget. I saw that Chipotle has the steak meal. Chipotle, which is kind of like fast food, a little bit higher end fast food. I compare it to like Chick-fil-A, Five Guys. So it's like fast food, but it's not the lowest fast food. $39 for a steak bowl or a steak quesadilla or whatever. I've never been to Chipotle. I've never been to Chipotle. But in California, that costs you $39. A McDonald's Big Mac meal in places like Connecticut is like $12 to $13 right now. We can't keep buying food in town and expect to save money. You can't go out and eat every day or every night, or go to the coffee house and buy a latte every morning for $7 with a muffin and expect to come out on top and have a surplus of funds. You wonder where your money went? Well, my gosh, if you write out a budget, you realize that it's probably because I spent too much money out in town. So guess what I would say do? Make that grocery list that we talked about, number two. You build meal plans. You learn how to eat around the family table again. You quit worrying about town. You quit worrying about having your phones out when you're eating, and you talk amongst yourself. You talk amongst your children. You talk amongst you as a spouse, and you talk through life together. There's nothing better than, no matter how bad my day is, if it's dealing with farming or my normal job or YouTube or whatever it may be, whatever the stress I have, when I can sit around the table with my children and my wife, see food that we have produced on farm that God has blessed us with, it gives me a peace. It's less stress. Instead of going out to eat and literally $80, $90, $100 we spend to eat to then literally flush it down the toilet a few days later. So you have to learn to say, okay, well, why don't I have money? Well, because you're blowing money and you don't have a plan. Quit spending money out in town. You don't need to eat out for lunch every day. You can learn to take a sandwich. A PB&J is pretty good. A ham sandwich is pretty good, and it saves you money. You need to learn how to do that. That will give you more independence and make number 1 and 2 better. And number 4, you start building up yourself. What do I mean by that? Wake up a little early and do a few things. Read a devotion. Listen to a podcast. Read your Bible. Read a book that gives you stress-free start to the day. Take a cold plunge. Take a day in the sauna. You know how you do that? You don't have to buy anything. Fill your bathtub up with either a cold water with ice or really hot and enjoy a soak. Start your day off better. And what I mean by that is start challenging yourself to wake up earlier to get a start on the day, to be motivated to do the hard parts first, and then that way you're ready for the rest of the day. One thing I've learned, if I run, if I do all my chores, and if I turn around and do a cold plunge, do a cold shower, or do something like, for instance, I've been running 2 to 3 miles every morning, and then either cold plunging or doing some kind of other workout. I've made the hardest part of my day before 7:30. Now, why do I do that? Because then it makes the rest of my day a little bit less stressful, and it also helps me just prepare to say, you know what? If I can conquer that, I can conquer this. It helps me morale boost. Our life is stressful. So if you make a day to start in a therapy kind of session saying either I'm gonna do the hardest things I can first so I can prepare for the day, or I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna start reading the Word of God, or I'm gonna start reading a devotion or listen to a podcast to try to get prepared for the day, it can help you. Motivation is not a bad thing. Also, putting yourself through some stress in the mornings helps not stress out as much because you've went through the hard parts already of your day. So build your day based on hard first, and then it allows you to know that you can conquer anything for the day. We live in a very chaotic situation. So if we learn to try to deal with that on the front end, try to ground ourselves, base ourselves in good book, good podcast, good motivational wisdom, or simply taking a cold plunge to get the stress of the day, or taking a good run or working out, it will help. When we exercise, when we work our body out, and we mentally exercise, physically exercise, then it helps us prepare for the rest of the day no matter what we go through. The stress, anxiety is going to be there, but it's going to be a lot less because you've prepared your morning. And number 5, the most important, and the reason I always end it with this, because I want you to see the value of what I'm talking about. Number 1 through 4 will not happen unless you change your life. You have to realize that the school system's broke, that the world is broke, that you're not going to fix everything, but that there is one thing that can, and it's spiritual healing. You have to get grounded in faith. I cannot go through the craziness and the worry and the stress of raising 6 children in a bad world and then trying to understand all this that I try to share. It stresses me out sometimes. But then I go back to say, you know what? I've grounded myself physically, mentally, like we talked about. I've put myself independently on a good budget. I've been more sustainable because I'm not eating out. But ultimately, I'm grounded in my faith to know that no matter what happens, God is always there. So we have to, you wonder how we get through this, how we deal with the crazy politicians, how we deal with the indoctrinations of school, is you rely on Christ. And when you rely on Jesus, or when you rely on your faith, I promise you it will make your life better. It will make your marriage better. It will make your finance better. It will make stay into a strict budget or stay into strict rules and regulations and morals and values better. And ultimately, your children will see a better grounded, faith-filled home and a stress-free home to where they want something like that when they grow up, not what the education system is teaching them. If you can homeschool your children, try to figure that out. If you can homeschool your grandchildren, try to figure that out. You can do it on computer now if you have to. Rely on faith and then start building up your marriage, because that's the only way. That home that we have here, if I have that right, all the rest will work out. I have to build my home to a structure based on love, caring, grounded in faith, morals and values, and then my children will see something so much better than what the world can give. Guys, let me know what you think. Also check out Mudwater. They are a phenomenal sponsor of our channel, but actually I enjoy it. If you're looking for something to drink alongside that good book in the morning or after a good workout, Mudwater is healthy. It's all the benefits that you can get, and it's a phenomenal good deal right now. Guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless. Happy Health Day.